I'm so happy to have this opportunity to meet and speak with Mahaya. Mahaya, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling excited.
Hey.
Excited to be here.
Well, thank you so much. I found you via a meditation orientated group, and I saw that you've been involved in healing work for many, many years, and you have a really extensive resume. So I'm excited to just hear a little bit about your journey. Can you tell me, where do you live?
Right now, I am on Vancouver Island, Pacific, Canada. This has been my place for the last year. And before that, I've been traveling a lot around the world.
Nice. I hear it's beautiful on Vancouver Island. What are your thoughts so far?
Mm. Well, I chose to be here. I lived in Ontario, Canada before, and then I traveled. I came back to Canada after 5 years of being away. And I wanted to be in a community where I resonate with people, where people are having the same values that I do in terms of connection with themselves, their truth, living their truth,
Yeah,
curiosity, openness to life. And it feels like there are more of those type of people here. It's like a bigger concentration. I find more people that are living a little bit differently than most of the world. So I'm really enjoying that.
amazing. Is it, I obviously it's quite a bit colder there. I'm curious what the temperature is there now. The time of the year is, we are October, today is October 29th in 2025. What is the weather like in October on Vancouver Island?
Well, I wish it was warmer.
All right.
I definitely would trade with you right now.
Okay. Yeah, we're still hot
Um,
here. We're waiting for our first
yeah,
hurricane to come. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts being yucky here this time of the year. Yeah, the temperature is not that bad. I used to live in Russia in the past. I'm from Russia originally, and in Ontario as well, it was minus, it was getting to minus. And here you don't get that. You get maybe Celsius, 0 degrees, the worst.
Yeah.
But it gets dark. It gets dark. It's lots of rain.
Gotcha.
And
Nice.
it starts right now. Yeah, there are more and more rainy days.
I've met people that were really into surfing that said the surf on Vancouver Island was amazing. What is your experience of going down to the beach there?
I live on the boring side for surfing
All right,
of Vancouver Island.
you're on the west side.
There's a
Gotcha.
part that
Or the
faces
east side.
mainland
East
that
side.
is quiet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you want to get from Vancouver Island back to the mainland, are you taking a boat, a plane? What is the transportation like?
Mostly ferries. That's the most affordable. You get onto the ferry. The ferries are really good.
Yeah.
People who can afford, they can take a float plane. But yeah, that's not how most people travel.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Very cool. And from reading your bio, you've have experience with yoga and body work, and you've done a lot of training in that world. And then I
Mhm.
saw on your website that you offer something, and your website is mahayahealingarts.com, of which the link is in the description so people can find you easily. I saw that you do a type of healing modality called circling, and I wasn't really sure what that means. Can you tell me a little bit what that looks and feels like?
Yeah, yeah, I kind of feel I want to start like why I got to that place after doing yoga and
Yes,
body
please.
work and all other
Yes, please.
therapies that I was involved in, how I even got to this new place right where I'm at right now. Is that okay?
I would love that. Thank you. Sorry for jumping too far ahead too fast. I thank you.
No, it's great. Yeah, I started with this whole exploration of healing and therapies since my 20s. I am 46 today, so it's been a while. And I started because but in Buddhist terms, I lived a life of suffering. There was a lot of suffering in my life. I felt miserable. I felt victimized by life. And yeah, I was unhappy in many, many aspects of my life, relationships, health, not knowing what I'm doing in life. And actually, the biggest misery for me was relational. It's like I didn't feel the way I'm relating with others, my connections were nourishing me. It actually was very painful for me and triggered a lot of stuff in me. So all that made me to join a spiritual community, which I was a part of for 13 years, kind of like a non-life since I was 25, because I felt, okay, I just got to sit and meditate and I'll resolve this. I'll start being happy. So that's been my path. And it was really like I had a guru, I was dedicated. And at the same time, even in that community, which was really, really kind, I felt not belonging. I felt just all that same stuff that struggled before joining the path started to surface for me. And I did not know how to work with it. All the feelings of anger, of not feeling understood, of not feeling connected. And I got to the place where I actually got really sick. I was serving. I lived in the center where I meditated with everyone, lived with everyone, worked like karma yoga, we call it, service. And I didn't feel fulfilled. And I got really, really sick to the extent where I was almost not functioning. And at that point, I realized that I'm missing on something, something that I'm not doing here, something I'm really missing. My turning point was where I recognized, okay, it's not all black and white. Because I was really this health freak, like meditation resolves everything. I was a vegan. Like everything had to be only natural. I wasn't recognizing modern medicine, pharmaceuticals. And at that point, I was like, wow, I'm not making it. I might die if I don't go to a doctor
Wow.
and
Yeah.
take that sleeping pill because I actually like had a severe insomnia. Like I was so sleep deprived,
Yeah.
like severely sleep deprived that like my brain wasn't functioning.
Wow.
I didn't have coordination. Yeah, it was really, really difficult. So it started by just like, okay, maybe it doesn't have to be everything black and white. And now it's a question of survival. And let me look at that. So that was my turnaround from, okay, spirituality, meditation, healthy living, results, everything to like, let me ask deeper questions here.
Yeah. Understood. That makes sense. Do you find that that's a common thing that happens for folks that are recovering from trauma and or a life of extreme challenge is that we tend to then think I'm going to fix it by being perfect and then we find what the perfect boxes are like you mentioned like vegan, meditation, spiritual life, live on an ashram, have a guru, but there's more to it than that.
Um, I find for myself what I've learned is to look at the places where I don't want to feel something and how I use something else to not feel that. So for me, there was a lot of emotional pain that I wasn't facing in myself. And I used spirituality to kind of like say, like, oh, okay, it's all love and light. It's all beautiful. Let's just meditate on the heart. It's all gonna be good. Let me just do what others are saying to do. It works. They're like, look at them. They look amazing. I want to look the way they are, full of light. Let me do exactly what they are doing, and it's gonna be all good. And doing that, and it's okay. I feel like it's okay to try different things and see what works. But I was doing that and ignoring what was actually happening to me in my body and how I was feeling, which I felt didn't feel happy. I didn't feel fulfilled. So ignoring things and sticking to one thing that's kind of like supposed to work, that's why my mind thinks because that's what I read in books. That did not work.
Yes.
So what I've learned that I need to actually listen to my body, to listen to actually like, okay, am I happy? Like, am I happy? What do you feel? What's happening? And like, okay, and then what is missing? So when I started getting just a bit stronger, like I started taking that sleeping pill and sleeping just a bit better, and my brain started functioning again. I asked the first question I asked myself, am I happy? Because it can be just survival. Okay, I just want to heal and feel better in my body and sleep better. But like I need to be passionate. Why do I live? What is here for me? What nourishes me? What does it to me? And I knew that I always liked to go to yoga classes. Whenever I would go to a yoga class, I would feel better. And when I asked myself, like, what is it that I actually love doing? I'm like, well, at least I know I feel better in yoga classes. I kind of love yoga. So I felt like, okay, I'm going to go and train to be a yoga teacher. And that's how my path started. I
Yes.
went and I trained to be a yoga teacher. And that was the first place where I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm actually feeling happy here. There's like a sense of connection.
And I read that you did that in India, I believe. Was it in Rishikesh?
No, I did it in Canada. I wasn't strong enough to travel at that time. It
Oh,
was not too far from my home, but I went into the mountains. It's Shivananda ashram.
oh,
I
that's
immersed myself in a month living there and doing that training with him.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
that was the
was this
first. Mhm.
Mahaya, was this after you had lived in the intentional community for 13 years, or was this before?
It was during that period. It was just when I started getting better.
Yeah, nice.
Um, I was still part of this, my original community with that specific guru. And I went and did my own thing, which wasn't looked well at because you're
Mhm.
supposed to do just one thing dedicated to one path. So that started my journey of coming out from that specific community because I started doing my own thing
Yes.
that's they're not doing. Hmm.
That's an interesting thing, isn't it? When you realize you have to do something different and you start getting pushback, that almost gives you the sign, even though it's so difficult, because it'll feel like, am I doing the right thing? But it almost is a red flag to say, yes, yes, I am, if I'm taking care of myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for seeing that because it was a big thing for me at that time because that community was everything I had. That was my whole life. And starting to do my own thing that's not approved was taking myself out from that place of belonging that was still a little bit there. I mean, it was like that was all I had. And yeah, it was a big step of just like, okay, this is not anymore about belonging, but like, okay, I actually need to find a way to stay alive. It was like a question of really death and life at that point. In starting to check into my truth and what's really, really true for me, what feels good for me.
Yes. Nice. Do you feel like you have what type of realizations have you had since that point that then brought you to explore different home healing modalities?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Um, I so for me, coming into teaching yoga was really about my own journey. It wasn't about, oh, there is something I can offer, but it was more about like, okay, what is it that I love doing and giving that to myself. And it was more also about reconnecting to my power because when someone is sick, like when I was sick, it's like I became nobody. It's like I don't exist. So it's like all the confidence in my capacity completely disappeared. So it was a way of, who I matter. I matter, I make an impact, just kind of giving myself that experience. And it looks like I became quite a good yoga teacher because of this. I feel what was really working there and in body work. I got trained in body work much, much earlier, and it was always part of my life. In body work, it was this capacity to come into presence that felt was moving something. in the class. And this capacity of coming into presence started transferring into all the other modalities that I started moving into after the yoga. And I would say that right now it's still the foundation of everything that I'm doing. And that's what makes the difference. It's not the modality, it's not the therapy, but it's that the person that I'm in contact with, I'm sharing this space with, they're being impacted, they're becoming a bit more present in their own bodies, finding a deeper breath. So the whole journey of this going into this therapist, different modalities was really about my own healing. And the way it impacts others is just a little bit of a byproduct of that
Yeah.
in my experience. So when I went to yoga, I realized, oh, people are crying in my classes. And I know, like when I learn about yoga also, oh, it's like brings up the emotional material they're able to feel. How for myself, I did not have that experience. Like, okay, I feel the stretch, but like I don't feel any emotions. I don't know, nothing is happening for me. So I saw that something is missing for me personally. And I was searching for a modality that would help me to feel because I knew my healing is like it's opening up to like what actually am I not feeling right now? Yeah, where am I blocked? And I read a book by Anodea Judith, who is a known yoga teacher who combines bioenergetics with yoga. It's two things, bioenergetics and yoga. And she wrote this book on chakras, where when she talks about the first chakra, she says that one of the most potent ways to heal, to resolve the issues of the first chakra is breath work, and specifically conscious connected breath work. So that kind of like, what was that? Oh, what is that? I don't know what it is. Where is it offered? So I found this holotropic breathwork in the next city from mine. And maybe for a year, I was taking a bus. I did not have a car at that time. I was taking a bus, booking Airbnb to go to that holotropic day once a month to do my own healing. And that's where I'm like, wow, this is powerful. Seeing how much people get in touch with themselves and release, and how much actually witnessing the pain that everyone is carrying. It was an eyes opening to me just to see that it's like it's not just me. It's like, wow, people carry so much pain. And I had no idea that it's not just me. Everyone is in pain if you dig deeper. So I fell in love with that modality. And after practicing on my own, like with that group for a while, I went for a training in conscious connected breath work. And that kind of modality somehow I found people who practice it. I don't know why, but maybe it does bring people into psychedelic states, into this altered state of consciousness. Those people are very connected to using psychedelics as well for healing, for therapeutic use. So I started hearing about ayahuasca, and started sitting in ceremonies, also like full volume for maybe a year and a half, just like, okay, like everything for me is about healing. Like if that can heal me. So in parallel to breath work and yoga and teaching and doing body work, I was so much immersed in like working with ayahuasca for connecting to these transcendental states of consciousness and feeling what it feels like to be there and breathe from that place, and how I experience life while being in that state of more interconnectedness and oneness. So it was a very intense time of opening up in myself. And with all of that, okay, with all of these practices, I still felt disconnected. I still felt that the quality of my connection with others, of my relationships, I it's it's challenging. It brings pain. I don't. It's like it constantly triggers my insecurities. It constantly triggers my shame, feeling bad about myself. I'm afraid of being really myself when I'm with others, unless it's like a really close good friend. It's like I couldn't like feel like I can relax and be myself. It's like I leave this shame in my body somehow. And as a result, I yeah, I always felt like everyone else, and here's I am, my own island on myself, by myself. And that's where I started getting curious about, okay, what's missing here in terms of me being able to live this consciousness that I started connecting with through meditation, through psychedelic experiences, through all these practices, breathwork practices, how I live that in my relationship with others. How do I live that? How I work through that? How I don't pull away when I get triggered, when I start feeling insecure, when I start feeling bad about myself, how I don't shut down, how I still stay open and curious and um, myself. And that's what brought me to what you asked in the first place, this modality of circling, which is a form of authentic relating.
Did you use the word authenticating? Is that what you said? Authenticity?
Authentic,
Authentic
authentic relating. So we
relating.
relate in
Thank you. Thank
authentic
you.
way.
I'm so sorry. Authentic relating. Now I understand. Was, well, I mean, everything you just told me, and then for you being willing to come on here and speak with me would indicate to me that you've turned quite a big corner, because if you said you had a hard time relating with people and or felt like you were on an island and maybe not even knowing that other people feel pain and feeling very isolated in that experience, to share that publicly, in my opinion, takes quite a bit of work. So, would you agree with me? Do you feel like to be able to do what we're doing right now is kind of a big deal in a way?
Well, for me, it's just like celebration, you know. Like 6 years ago, before I connected with this modality of circling, I probably would be super scared and would be hardly able to talk because I would be so nervous. And now I don't have that experience. I'm excited. I'm like, I want to share. I'm very comfortable being myself.
Nice.
I'm very relaxed in my own skin. It's like I have a sense of ease being who I am and sharing of who I am.
Amazing. That's cool. Can you share a little bit about how that circling transformation unfolded? The experience?
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, thank you. I feel so excited of talking about it because of how much my life has changed because of this. And yeah, also really nice to be seen in that by you, just like that you see that. Yeah. And yeah, and also like I want everyone to know about it, that it is possible.
Please.
Um, because I felt like 6 years ago, if you would to ask me, I thought it's going to be this heavy cross that I'm going to carry throughout my whole life, where I will be always scared connecting with others. You know, I had this strong social anxiety, and I haven't been in a relationship for 20 years. I haven't been connecting with guys for 20 years. So I felt, this is going to be part of my life. That's how I am. That's who I am. And it was really amazing that through yoga community, I was finding people that I could connect in a safe way, one-on-one, that felt good. And I'm happy for that. Um, so when I started asking myself, what is it that I'm lacking? Why I'm not able to connect with others? What's the problem here? I could see that, like, I know to talk, it's like I know to say hi. I know to ask, how are you doing? So it's something else that I need to explore. It's not, I don't need to go to a class to learn communication skills. Like, it's like, I know how to say things. And I realized like I need to be in a relational space, where there are others and I can explore it, but where it feels safe. So when pandemic started, that was when I hit the bottom in this isolation feeling because I was in Guatemala. the lockdown, I went to Guatemala just to take a year for myself. And after a few months, the lockdown happened. And I ended up house sitting this huge mansion with one black cat and one duck. All by myself, no one else. And I started going crazy.
Mm. Were you interacting with folks via this medium such as Zoom and or technology, or were you literally isolated all by yourself in that space?
So I was all by myself, and the only connection was Facebook. The only connection with iPads was Facebook at that time for me. It wasn't Facebook. And I saw that someone in our community where I lived in that Guatemala, there was a conscious community of expats, said, "Hey, I'm going to offer online because we are all, sitting in our houses. I'm going to offer online this authentic relating if anyone wants to connect. I'm facilitating authentic relating." And I've heard about this before. I always wanted to explore. I was like, wow, this is really cool. I'm going to do that. And that was my first experience. That's how I got introduced to that. And that guy who offered it, he was a part of this whole huge platform where they were offering these relational practices under the umbrella of authentic relating. Everything was Zoom online. And because it was pandemic, it was booming. It was thriving. Everyone was online. They had maybe 4 or 5 sessions that you could go to into this relating groups and relate in different contexts. So what I did for about 6, 8 months of this lockdown, I was sitting on the Zoom, going for at least 2 sessions with them a day. And it was intense. I think after each session, so much in me was triggered that I felt like I needed therapy after the session. I felt so bad about myself. There was so much shame. I felt like, wow, I can't do even that. It was very, very challenging. I had even to reach out to one of the participants and ask for how she can be with me one-on-one so that I somehow build up to that. So it was a very long journey and difficult journey. However, after those 6, 8 months, I came out a new person. It's like I came out excited about meeting others.
Amazing. That's powerful. What do you attribute some of the key factors of of this type of approach to having such a profound success with you or for you?
Mhm. Yeah. So what we do in this practice, specifically, it's called circling. Yeah, it's the form of authentic relating. Authentic relating has many different types of how you can engage in this way of being with others. And one of the more advanced is circling, and because there's less structure. Okay. There's types of authentic relating where you're just given an exercise. You go into a breakout room, or if it's in person, it's one-on-one with someone. And you're given this exercise, you're given a prompt, like the sentence that you can start with, like, if you really knew me, you would know da 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 da. So that you can kind of start practicing vulnerability with each other, very structured. Okay. And there is a circling where there is no structure, where you're just here. You're here, I am here. And we are in this inquiry. How does it feel for me to be here with you? What's happening for me when I look at you?
And maybe without even words being spoken, like just sitting in a circle with a group and just trying to feel that without necessarily having to have to verbalize it. It's fascinating.
Mhm.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, please keep going. I'm curious. Or do you need me to ask you a question?
Yeah.
Prompt you.
Yeah. So another name to this is relational meditation. So the reason it's called relational meditation because just like in meditation, what we're doing in this practice, first of all, we check with ourselves what is actually happening for me right now without anyone. If I close my eyes, what is happening for me right now? Yeah, and just like in normal Vipassana classical meditation, we just sit down, notice, oh, sensations. Okay, this is what I'm feeling. These are the thoughts that are crossing my mind. Just becoming aware of my own experience, coming into this place of connection with myself and witnessing. And then the next thing that we do, we open the eyes and we see, oh, there are others here in this space. And again, there's no pressure to speak. And the whole practice, even if I don't speak at all, it's my own business. Like there's no pressure to do anything. It's all for me to explore myself in the relational space. That's why we call it meditation, because
Mm,
just like meditation,
mm.
in meditation, we sit solely in exploring ourselves. Here, I still explore myself, but in relation to others. How this like extra layer of my experience, now there are others here, impacts me.
What would you feel? What did you start to feel in the beginning after doing the personal check-in experience in relation to your meditation practice, opening your eyes, seeing there's other people there? Is that something that could trigger discomfort for you to just be like, oh my gosh, there's people here,
Yeah.
or like what is that? If we were to try to, if I'm just trying to understand like the mapping out of like how did that develop then for you to be able to be like, oh, this is actually kind of nice. It's nice to be around
Mhm.
people. I like this. This is cool. Versus the triggering of like, oh, what am I going to say? How are they going to relate? What if they don't like me? All this type of stuff that might go on in our heads. Where do you feel like there was a specific catalyst that then got that to change? Or do you feel like just that the process of being facilitated in this way, that's how the change happens?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah. So for myself, even with my eyes closed, I was noticing just knowing that there are others here, my mind was occupied with them. And how am I going to be here? It's like there was already worrying how I'm going to be here, what others think about me. Like that was the what was what was my mind busy with. Yeah, rather than being able to let them go and just like, ah, how is my breath? It's like I was so occupied about how I'm being perceived by others and worrying about how I'm going to be perceived. And then opening my eyes, I did feel like, oh, there's anxiety in my body. Like it's scary for me to be here. And I wonder what they think about me. And I wonder how I look. And there's like really like vigilance of how I'm holding myself to make sure that I'm perceived in a good way, in a way that I want to be perceived. So there's like extra vigilance. So I was just aware of all these layers. And then what we do in circling, we actually name them. So in solo meditation, we just witness, right? But in relational space, we actually put that into words. Oh, I'm noticing I'm anxious, or I'm noticing I I'm wondering, like I feel like I'm judged by you, So I would reveal what's actually here for me. And revealing that, if I have a need to hear, I wonder how you actually perceive me, there's an opportunity to do that. So I get real-time feedback from others how they actually perceive me. And that's what was rewriting eventually when I had the courage. Like it's also scary to ask that because like what if like they really think about that I'm like, you know, shit, you know, what if that's true? If they think that I do not
Yeah,
matter,
if their words that come out are the words that are in my head about what I think they think of me or how I think of myself, that would be traumatic in and of itself because it would give validity to the fact that what I'm thinking. Did you find people? Oh, I mean, gosh, well, I mean, just as I'm listening to you, if you were to ask me that, and if I was maybe if I did have trouble with you, and I was brutally honest enough to say that to you. Did you have any of those experiences and how is that sort of navigated if that were the situation?
Yeah. You know, I feel because I was so traumatized, people were picking up on it because I would be like, well, I feel that like, we would go into a breakout room and I look at the person, I feel like they don't want to be with me here. They're like, feel like, oh, bummer, I'm with this Mahaya. And I would say that, like, I feel that you feel like you're stuck with me here. And then the person's like, why do you think so? Like, Like, what makes you to think that way? So it was kind of kind in the beginning. I felt like people were really caring. And at the same time, there were people that I would say something and she's like, oh, I don't like you asking me this. And I felt like, wow, she really doesn't like me. I didn't think it's just she doesn't like, but it's like she doesn't like me. So I would make it about myself, start feeling triggered. And that's why my insecurities would come up. I was like, wow, I'm really not amazing. I knew that. I knew that. I knew that. You know, that would be my voice in the head. And that was really triggering.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and now as I am more connected to my power, like in these last few years, and more bold, there are definitely people that actually might not might be triggered by me and not like me, not liking my boldness or too muchness, and they would say that they actually don't like me. And now I'm ready for that. Now I'm just like ready to get curious about that, how that makes me feel rejected. Yeah, how it's like, oh, there's a pain of rejection. Oh, or like, oh, there's a feeling that something I'm doing not okay. But I have a curiosity around that because in general, I repaired my sense of myself. It's like I know I'm good. Like I'm basically in my foundation, I'm good. My intentions are good. I'm a good person. And I might be messy. I mean, I make mistakes all the time, but it doesn't mean that I'm bad.
Yes.
But before that, I didn't know all that. I thought like, no, actually, that means I'm bad.
Well, that's amazing that you're able to turn that around.
Mhm.
Are you facilitating this work with others?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So now I'm creating those spaces of intimacy for others. And this is what nourishes me now in life. It's just, I guess it's my own longing for this lifelong longing for this intimate connection because it is, we go into these really vulnerable places where we feel each other, where it's not exchange of information, there are different levels of connection with others. Yeah, there's one level that most people connect on where just talking about weather, the way we started, or where do you live, you know, this like chit
How's the
chat.
weather? What's the temperature in Vancouver? What
Here
side
you
of the island?
are.
Yeah.
Here you are. We can talk about it, but we'll never go to this place where we connect in a way where if I speak to you, being with you here right now, I feel kind of seen, I feel seen and I feel welcomed. And there's a desire in me to kind of drop a bit more in with you into this, you know. So it's like a different way, it's like I'm sure the way it impacts you is different than if I say to you, hey, what's the weather like in Florida right now?
That's a good point, Mahaya. I hear you. Do you feel like in the concept of yourself on the material, physical plane, and then if we have a higher self, are you starting to get a sense of a connection to the the self that I can see on the screen right now, the physical you, and maybe some sense of a higher you? I don't know if that's the right
Mm.
way to say it, but lately I've been coming across that concept of actually, just today, I heard somebody mention it in relation to a show, which I did not finish watching because it was so bizarre. I didn't like totally understand what was going on, called Severance, where there's this idea where, without going in too far deep into it, but like where all of the mundane activities of the world, you could clock out. Like if I have all these mundane activities, I could clock into that. And then when I leave the mundane activities, I could go to my outside of work life and clock into that. And the two lives have no way of knowing what they're doing on the one life or the other. And I was like, oh, that's what that show was about. I was so confused. But it got me to think, whoa, what if I do have like a higher self living somewhere else that's kind of like using me or utilizing my skill in the world as a way of learning lessons to train or feed my higher self. Like, so I don't know if that's a disjointed way of looking at my existence or a very healthy way of looking at my existence, but I'm just feeling like I'm curious that there's got to be so much more that I'm not seeing or feeling, and I want to learn more about that. Do you have any thoughts or insights around what I mentioned?
When you started, I had the feeling that I'm understanding what you're asking. And now, as you are sharing about your experience, I'm getting a bit more curious about your experience, actually. Yeah. Yeah. So, what I'm hearing that you're saying, just for me to understand, okay, I'm going to check with you. What you were saying just now is that there is an inquiry that you have with yourself. Is there something more there that's actually like as I go around and do my life, is there something more, something deeper here in some way? There's like another entity of my higher self that's kind of present here that I'm not aware of and is like benefiting from all of this in some way, learning.
Yeah. Yeah. When I started to think of like that or look at it like that, I went, whoa. I guess it makes me understand suffering a little bit better.
Mhm.
Like to be able to feel pain and say, oh, this is really hard, but there's got to be some learning lesson that I'm getting out of this that's for my better, for the benefit of something.
Mhm.
Says, what did I do? Why do I deserve this? You know, like all
Yeah,
that kind of, like, I don't know,
yeah, yeah,
there's a reason, like, I'm starting to feel more like there's a reason for the pain and the suffering, that it wasn't just all for naught. It wasn't,
yeah.
and I'm
Mm.
curious
Yeah,
what you're picking up on these
yeah.
days.
Yeah, I also hear you. It's like it shifted your perspective at the suffering and things whenever something is challenging, you started seeing it in a new way, relating to that in a new way.
Yeah.
As you shifted into that perspective. Yeah, I feel, yeah, I'm so with you. I feel that was, I mean, circling practice is the held space for exploration and for practice. However, I feel the biggest shift for myself for sure it came from the place. Probably it came through this work with psychedelics, meditation, breathwork. It was all kind of strengthening me in identifying with this more witnessing part of myself that's just okay, seeing things as they happen, the challenges as they happen, but not getting caught in them, but seeing them like, okay, what am I learning here? How can I work with this? What is it that I can do? What is it that I can do? Like that kind of question, you know? And that was with yoga. It's like, okay, what is it I love doing? I need to love something I need to start doing something I love in life to survive, to actually start not just surviving, but thriving. I need to start doing things that I actually love doing. So yeah, it's from that perspective, that shift that happened. And because of that shift of not identifying anymore with these insecure parts of myself, these really painful parts of myself, they're still here. They're still here. They're still here. Maybe they're a little bit more gentle and faint, but like they're still here. I feel them. But when they come in, just not being lost there, that makes the difference, of course.
Nice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Do you have a daily practice of something like like I mean obviously do you still practice yoga? Do you take some sort of formalized practice? Do you still do formalized breath work practices?
Mm-hmm.
Are you in a state where you're letting go of all of the like quote practices and just trying to live and not have to carve time out where, okay, now I'm going to sit down. This is my 1 hour to To this particular practice, I'm curious what's speaking to you these days in relation to managing, just like, okay, now I'm not practicing anything, I'm just living, I'm just having some fun, or what does it look like for you right now or these days?
Yeah, yeah. For myself, I feel I cannot go without practice even one day because of the way my mind works. It's like I need to clear it out every day. I need to come back to sanity every day. And for myself, it's in the morning. Yeah, it's when I wake up, I at least for an hour, I have to say, at least for an hour, and sometimes longer. I really give myself lots of spaciousness in the mornings. At least for an hour, I would do this conscious connected breath work. This is my way of working with myself, just starting to basically paying attention to my breath. That's all it is. I don't, it's, if, people know about this conscious connected type of breath work, sometimes it can be quite intense. I don't do that. For me, I just pay attention to like, oh, I'm actually breathing. And I just keep coming back to that. And whatever confusions that I have from the day before start coming into me because, like, there are these questions. And whenever I start connecting to it, I would call it like more like this presence of conscious, just what's really here. All the inquiries there, right in front of me. And as I allow them to be here, I start seeing the answers, also the insight, the right way of seeing things, the way that the higher conscious, the higher version of myself would experience it and look at it, the more sane perspective. And then I do make sure that as I transition into the day from my practice, I carry this spaciousness, this presence with me as much as possible into the way I come out of my bed, into the way I go into my maybe movement practice, whatever that practice is on that day, into making my breakfast. I'm also very fortunate that all my work now, I do one-on-one work with clients, with somatic therapists, psychosomatic therapists, and the circling practice, it's all based on presence. So it's even the work that I do, I for the work need to be in this space. So I'm very fortunate in that way that most of my day is saturated with
That's cool. Can you
the
can you
connection, the deeper connection.
That's actually a really cool point because can you talk a little bit about, let me back up. Maybe if I'm working in a job that I meditate and then I go about a really busy day and I do my job and all that sort of stuff. And then I take
Hmm.
that 1 hour
Hmm.
to meditate in the morning. And what you just said to me sounds like you're able to turn your work into an extension of your awareness practice. And your awareness practice is an extension of your interacting with your client's practice. And I appreciate that you use the terminology that I'm very fortunate because I would agree with you. And I feel similarly, I feel very fortunate that my day to day is, well, it has a lot of stress in it too, but it has moments where I can apply what I love and appreciate into my work and vice versa. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like for you and how long it's taken you to get to this point? I guess in a way,
What's
and I'm sorry to interrupt you because I just asked you a question. I keep going on and on here, but you kind of already did tell me how you've evolved and you've gone through a tricky time. So I guess another question I have is, do you remember when there was a time in your life where you thought, wouldn't it be amazing to love my job? And here you are now, you can say, I love my job. Do you have that sort of experience?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a long journey to get
It's a long
here.
journey. Yeah. Why did it have to take so long? No, I'm kidding. I know. I hear you.
Journey. Oh,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, because there's like a financial aspect, right? Like it's like, it's like, okay, can I do this? And who's going to pay to me for this? And is it going to be enough money for paying up for all my expenses and living the life, the quality of life that I want to live in that way? So when I chose to be I guess I always in some way worked in something that's still I'm connected. Like I was a body worker and I worked in this big spa. It was a full time and it was a good income that I was making at that time with doing that and stable, like I'm employed. It's always I'm gonna always have clients. I don't need to promote myself. I don't need to worry about the clients. So when I went to this teaching yoga and having my own private work with body work, just doing on my own, my own space, I held on to that spa job for quite a while. And it took me going away for a month of just immersing myself in this yoga community where I did my yoga teacher training. I went for doing just karma yoga, just a month of fun, where I felt like, you know what, I cannot come back to my work. It doesn't feel aligned anymore. And actually, as I'm speaking now, I'm noticing my battery is going down. I'm gonna just move a bit to connect, to plug it to
No problem.
um the outlet so I don't lose you.
Right.
So here.
Right. If you do, it's no problem. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, thank you. It's a little bit darker. Let me see.
No problem. We
A bit
switched the
darker. I hope
mood.
it's okay.
We switched the mood. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Now we're going to the darker mood. No, I'm kidding. I'm
Mhm.
joking.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what to do about this,
No,
but
no, it's
yeah.
totally
As
fine.
you
I'm
can
just
see.
having fun.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. Yeah. So it took me a while and I needed to completely disconnect and be in some other like more like aligned vibe for a month where I felt like, it actually doesn't feel aligned. I cannot go there. I'm not happy just thinking about it. I need to come back and go there. So from there, I wrote this letter of wanting to leave, get notice 2 weeks notice. And when I came back, I did not go to the work anymore. So that was the last thing that I did, something that didn't feel in full alignment. And maybe now it's 10 years since then.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah. It worked. You figured
It
out how to
worked.
make it work. Yeah. Did
It
you,
worked.
as you
Mhm.
started to integrate circle work and authentic relating work into your practice, because what I like hearing about too is, we start off with like you're in the same, I would say you're in the same field, in the world of you worked in the healing world with the body work. And then as you grew and evolved and you learned new modalities and it evolved, and then there's a point where you can still even feel like I'm taking another leap of faith to attempt to go this direction. For example, maybe everybody was used to you doing hands-on body work with them. And now all of a sudden you're saying, well, look, that works really well, but I'm finding incredible results from this other type of work. And some people will jump on board and some people won't. And sometimes even that's challenging. So, was there a little bit of that as you transitioned over to facilitating more of the authentic relating work? Or do you feel
Yeah.
like it was a pretty smooth, seamless experience?
Yeah. Yeah. I was still working with body work and teaching yoga and facilitating breath work when I started being really passionate about circling and what it can give to others. And for me, my major income was from what I was already doing and I had the clients in, and circling was more just, oh, this is like, I don't need to be paid for that. I mean, it would be nice to be paid for, but I couldn't believe that someone will pay to me for that. But it's just like, it's for my own nourishment. So I started to do it from just pure place of giving, just because I enjoy that, because it just feels good. Yeah. So that's how it started. And that's how I was getting better at holding those spaces myself without feeling that pressure of needing to perform.
Yeah. Cool. Very nice.
However, it changed because for the past year and a half, coming back to Canada, my lifestyle is even more nomadic than it was. when I was traveling. Like I'm just like moving a lot. So I was so in this year and a half, I've been focusing into actually can I actually support myself by facilitating those spaces and doing this psychosomatic work with others in one-on-one, which is all online, very different from what I used to do, which was in person. So that was the whole new journey for me of learning all that it takes.
Nice. So cool, Mahaya. I really appreciate you sharing this with us. You know, I find it so fascinating. I love hearing how how you evolved in your journey. Can you, as I'm attempting to turn, because I know we scheduled an hour and I want to be respectful of your time, as we're kind of like starting to turn that corner toward like, uh-oh, it's already been an hour. I can't believe it. Can you give us a little bit of advice, myself and the listener, if we explore meditation and close our eyes and we can you give us a little bit of advice of or maybe some insight into a way of listening and being open and receptive to the things we see, the scenarios that are playing in our head, and then maybe the questions we have, is this real, is this not? How much of this is my imagination? How much of it is true insight? Can you give us a little bit of a tool to navigate that if that's occurring for myself? It is occurring for myself and for others.
Just want to check with you again to make sure I understand your question.
Please.
So you're saying the experience that you're having with the meditation is like you would have a certain experience, and for you personally, you would like question like, okay, how much of that is real and how much of that is not? Is that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like asking questions. Like while I'm in meditation, I'll ask questions and I'll receive some sort of insight. And then later
Mhm.
on, I might look back on it and go, I'll just really investigate it. Like, is that just me and my unprocessed traumatic experiences coming out in some sort of weird imagination thing? Or am I really getting clarity on some of the stuff that was unclear for me? You know, and just I guess I'm always just trying to navigate and just watch it, not take it too seriously, but at the same time, sometimes I'm amazed and I'm like, whoa, maybe that's really giving me some clear insight into that. So I guess I'm curious if you're having that as well, and if when that does come
Mm.
up for you, if it does, what is your
Yeah.
process of navigating and going through it?
Yeah. I love the question so much, and like how many nuances there, the answers that we receive in meditation and how to take and what to act on and what's real, what's not real. I love that inquiry. Um, what I'm learning for myself, I'm learning that my mind can just, yeah, it can go anywhere depending on my desires and my fears, and can produce anything that will match that. And for me, to check what's real. What is it that I actually is a value, not real, but like what is a value for me for where I want to be in life? I I need to to kind of like check it against that. It's like it's more like when I am here and check with myself, what are my true values? Where do I want to be in life? And whatever I received there, is it in alignment with that? Or is it an expression of fear? And if it is an expression of fear, then it actually helps me. It shows me where I am holding back or being blocked from expanding into that place where I want to be. So it's actually really valuable. However, there is no absolute truth on it, but it's like shows this like specific place in myself where there is maybe attachment some kind of desire that I still want to live before I get to this bigger place. And how can I meet myself there? There is a truth in that, like in terms of showing like my own inner world, what wants to be met here by me, maybe not necessarily acted on, but by me.
Yes. Great answer.
Mm.
Good answer. That's not an easy question to answer. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It was good. I like it.
Okay.
It's helpful.
Mm.
Well, thank you so much, Mahaya. I really enjoyed this and I appreciate your honesty and your patience and I can sense that we had you're taking time to answer and listen and actually pay attention and that's so valuable. So it's really a pleasure to meet you and I really appreciate you feeling comfortable and being so honest. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I let me see what's here for me. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. Felt very nourishing and satisfying. And yeah, it was really, really good. And thank you so much for your questions. Really, really enjoyed your questions.
Thank you, Mahaya. I hope to
Mm.
connect again in the future. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hope we stay in touch.